Then, 3 weeks later, a key Southeastern Conference victory over Alabama is tainted by the loss of Robinson, an injury that many thought would end Tennessee's Sugar Bowl dreams. But the Volunteers have rallied around a tenacious, opportunistic defense and the surprising play of backup quarterback Darrell Dickey, who leads the league in completion percentage. But SEC foe Ole Miss may have something to say about Tennessee's Sugar Bowl plans. The Rebels' gritty defenders are drawing the battle lines in Knoxville. The conflict begins in just a few moments. Ole Miss versus Tennessee.
Tennessee Volunteers, brought to you by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet. There's no slowing down with the Silver Bullet. By Go, the station with one low price, cash or credit. And by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. To arrange a test drive, phone your nearest BMW dealer.
Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, Tennessee. It's a cloudy day, temperature right about 70, but looks like a good day for football between the Rebels of Ole Miss and the Volunteers of Tennessee. Hi, everybody. This is Bob Neal along with Tim Foley. And, Tim, these Tennessee Volunteers with a 2-1 record are in the driver's seat to go to the Sugar Bowl and win the SEC title if they can win all the way out, beating Ole Miss and Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Tennessee played Alabama in a game we televised and lost their great quarterback, Tony Robinson. A lot of people felt that Tennessee's hopes ended there, but Darrell Dickey stepped in at quarterback, and the Tennessee offense and defense have continued to roll.
They've just done an excellent job. Dickey is the type of quarterback, of course, he's got that great football tradition, a type of quarterback that won't do anything to beat you. They've redirected the offense. They've kind of cranked it down a little bit and fine-tuned it more towards Dickey's particular skills. But he's doing an excellent job. He's rated number 4 in the SEC, completing 63% of his passes, doing a great job of leadership, too.
But I'll tell you who they're talking about here in Knoxville. They're talking about what they're calling the Rocky Stops. And the Rocky Stops means Tennessee defense, and what a year they're having.
You know, you didn't hear much about the Tennessee defense before the season opened. They talked about Robinson, the air attack. But Tennessee now leads the nation in turnover ratio. They're going to pressure Mississippi's offense. They're going to put the heat on them. And they've got people that can cover man-to-man and get away with doing it.
And speaking of that Ole Miss offense, they lost their quarterback, Ken Austin, too, to a knee injury. May have found a young freshman, though, by the name of Chris Osgood, a true freshman from Moss Point, Mississippi. Played well last week against Notre Dame.
Yes, he did. He came in the second half against Notre Dame, but that's a lot different than starting a football game. And as we mentioned earlier, Tennessee is going to pressure that young man and see what he's made of. They'll try to confuse him with different looks. But the defense is the answer for Ole Miss. If they're going to stay in this football game, their defense has got to carry this effort.
And the punting game could play a role here. If it's a defensive game, Ole Miss has a very good one in Bill Smith, and basically untested punter for Tennessee and Bob Garman. We'll see how that plays a role in this game. We'll be back here to Neyland Stadium for the coin toss and the kickoff, but after these messages, we're going to continue Football Saturday, our studios in Atlanta.
And for Tennessee, unfortunately, the two premier quarterbacks will be on the sidelines.
And then we'll play in the game. Tennessee's defense is playing awfully well. They missed Tony Robinson, no question about it, but the defense is just making up all the difference in the world.
Tennessee in the driver's seat for the SEC title.
They've only got 3 games remaining. Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Vandy, 3 easy teams, but they haven't beaten all 3 of these teams since 1978 in the same season.
Another game would be keeping a close eye on.
Neyland Stadium, 93,000 expected here today under cloudy skies with a chance, a 50% chance of rain. It rained a little bit this morning. The field has been covered, though, and is very dry. And there will be a full house, as there always is, here at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. And the Tennessee Volunteers are bidding for their first SEC championship since 1969. And that was a year in which the Volunteers' lone regular season loss came at the hands of the Rebels from Ole Miss. The last time Tim Foley and I were in Neyland Stadium to telecast the game 2 years ago, Tennessee was heavily favored, and Billy Brewer's Ole Miss Rebels came up here and won a defensive game by a score of 13-10, and they are, of course, hoping to do that again today. On our opening, Tim, we talked about the Tennessee Volunteers and the way they've had to regroup since losing the great Tony Robinson, and it seems to have in many ways pulled the Tennessee Volunteer team together. They had a chance to buckle, but they've become very gritty.
Timing is, I think, an important factor in any team concept, and early on the offense was carrying the defense as you see the Ole Miss Rebels come onto the field for Tennessee. And during that point in time, the defense had a time to assimilate some younger players into their scheme of things, and they've built a lot of confidence. And now this team, in the last several games, the Volunteers on the field has been winning with defense. They've cranked back their offense. They're not taking as many chances on offense. They're letting Dickey do what he could do well. He picks apart the opposing defenses with shorter passes. Today you might see something a little bit different, as against this Ole Miss pressure defense, you may see Dickey trying to go longer a little bit more often than he has in the past.
Well, he sure looks pumped up. You saw number 11 leading the team onto the field and jumping and getting them pumped up. We'll be ready for the coin toss and the kickoff when we return. This is at Memphis that Tennessee and Ole Miss first met on the football field for the first time, and the Vols won that game in an 11-10 squeaker. And they've been battling and having unusual games for years and years and years. As a matter of fact, it took Ole Miss 45 years and 20 games to finally beat the University of Tennessee, but then they beat them a whole lot of times in the mid-50s. And the last time, as we say, last year, it was Ole Miss losing to Tennessee. And then 2 years ago, Ole Miss defeated the Volunteers. There's Dickey, and you're going to get a chance to see him early for Tennessee, the quarterback to replace Tony Robinson and son of the athletic director, Doug Dickey, here at UT, because Tennessee will receive and will be going from right to left, which is south to north, here at Neyland Stadium in downtown Knoxville, Tennessee, on the campus of the University of Tennessee. And the man in the white hat is the referee for the game. It looks like Joey Howard will be kicking off for Ole Miss, and University of Tennessee's Jeff Powell is deep at the goal line to return the kickoff. 17 is John Howard, a junior from Memphis. And there is 21, Jeff Powell. He's playing a little bit banged up, and he's back there to take this kickoff return in place of Pete Panuska, who normally returns kickoffs for Tennessee, but Panuska's had to start today due to the injured shoulder of starting tailback Keith Davis. This ball game is underway from Knoxville. Short and high, Powell at the 5. To the 22-yard line, and from there, Tennessee will go on offense. Tennessee will be led on offense by Darrell Dickey, who, although he has not played a lot, is a mature young man. He is 24 years old and a fifth-year senior from Gainesville, Florida. Pete Panuska will start at tailback in place of the injured Keith Davis. Henderson at fullback, Swanson and McGee at the receiving positions, both of them dangerous in different ways. The best offensive lineman for Tennessee is the right tackle, Bruce Wilkerson. The starting tight end, Jeff Smith, although Tim Hendricks will play some too for the Tennessee Volunteers. From the 21-yard line is where they spot the ball, and the Volunteers open this football game. Dickey throws to the right side. That's McGee. McGee in a lot of trouble back there. Struggles forward for a couple of yards. He was tripped up by 66, Jeff Harrod of Ole Miss, the strong side linebacker for Billy Brewer's squad. And let's look for the Ole Miss Reds. For Tennessee, second down, 8. Here comes Panuska, and he gets only a yard or so to the 24-yard line, and Harrod gets his second tackle of the day. And there, this is third down 7 from the 24. Tennessee with double tight ends, nickel defense for Ole Miss. Dickey to throw. A lot of time. Nobody to throw to. And down he goes at the 27-yard line. Benton Reed, number 83, will get credit for the tackle for the Ole Miss Rebels. And the Tennessee Vols go 3 downs and out, and in comes their punter, Bob Garman, number 41, a sophomore from Birmingham, who's replacing the great Jimmy Colquitt. He does get the punt off a little bit quicker. We'll probably see both of these punters a lot today. Both teams will probably be conservative, as Tim told you earlier. And it is Goodlow and Ambrose back about their own 28-yard line. Goodlow is number 24, Ambrose number 6. Garman with a pretty good punt, not good hang time. That's Goodlow having problems, falls on it at the 30. Kind of a knuckleball punt. Ole Miss gets pretty good field position, though, at the 30-yard line, where they will go first down 10. And they will have a freshman quarterback, a true freshman, number 12, Chris Osgood, highly recruited out of Moss Point, Mississippi. Led the team to 2 late touchdowns against Notre Dame last week. Also different starters in the backfield. Wansley, normally a tailback, starts at fullback, and a freshman starts at tailback. Schimmel Hoskins, Rayburn, Sheehan, Irvin, and Perry on the offensive line for Ole Miss. First and 10 from the Rebels' 30. Hit in the backfield, and down he goes, Sean Sykes. Mark Hovanek, number 59 for Tennessee with the stop. A loss on the play. The defensive line for Tennessee, Hovanek, Brown, and Scott. Scott coming back from an injury. Dale Jones, the big play man for Tennessee, number 54 at linebacker. They've got good linebackers as usual. This is almost linebacker U. Sims starting at cornerback for the first time since last year. Kramer at the other corner. Davis and White, the leading interceptor at the safety. Out to the 33-yard line comes Sean Sykes, hit by 45, Darren Miller. It'll bring up third down. And let's see exactly where they spot the ball at the 33. Let's call it third down 9.
these are the kind of situations you'd love to stay out of with a freshman quarterback getting his first start. You'd like to give him the choice of run or pass so that defense can't tee off. In these situations, Tennessee usually likes to come after you.
Ricky Myers, 25, came into the ball game at the flanker position. Looking for Ambrose. Incomplete. As Chris Osgood throws his first pass, it goes incomplete on the Tennessee sideline. And Ambrose is a key player. When he catches the ball, Ole Miss moves. When he doesn't, they don't.
Ambrose fills the same slot for Mississippi as Timmy McGee fills for Tennessee. You see him there working against Andre Kramer. They're going to try to get him the ball as much as they can. He's a big play performer. He can make big things happen anytime he has his hands on the football.
Here's Bill Smith, junior punter, All-American candidate preseason, averaging 44.7. You see why. Kramer at the 8. And down at the 10-yard line. They may say his forward progress got him near the 11-yard line. That is the 24th punt this year that Bill Smith has punted inside the 20. That one a 59-yarder. This is Turner Network Television. Sparring in the boxing ring right now, moving around, going on offense for the second time is Tennessee. Both offenses were 3 downs and out. Dickey has only 1 running back, double tight ends in there now. The running back is 43, Sam Henderson, first down from the 11. He gets the ball. Big Sam Henderson gets it out to about the 18-yard line before he's hit by Michael Portis, number 60, the nose guard for Ole Miss. See, 3 wideouts, 1 tight end, 1 back. Toss it to the outside. Tennessee close to the first down. They're going to spot the ball at the 25-yard line. Joe Nathan Shelley covering Eric Swanson. It'll be about a half a yard short of the first down over at the 25.
Blitz situation, then they might try to go over the top.
3 tight ends for Tennessee. They give it to 43, Sam Henderson. He takes his 260 pounds and gets the UT first down as he drives the ball out here near the 29-yard line.
There's a couple of things, Bob, that can happen when you lose a player like Tony Robinson. You're always, I think that Johnny Major said it was like having a death in the family that next week of practice. And so you're always going to have a little bit of a letdown. But then one of 2 things can happen. A team can fall apart, or something like that, a major catastrophe can bring a group of kids closer together, and that's what happens for Tennessee.
First down 10 from the 29-yard line. Volunteers after their first down. Play fake, and Dickey rolls the throw. Has a man open. It's complete to the tight end. And knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Ole Miss is 81 Jeff Smith, who is tackled by 35 Jeff Noblin. Tennessee penetrating Ole Miss territory. You see all the rain gear. That's because the rain is going to come down sometime today.
Jeff Smith hasn't really been a big part of the Tennessee passing attack. He made a big catch against Auburn in a drive early in the first half, but they haven't heard a lot from him lately. They may go to him more in this against this Mississippi defense because of the blitz.
Tennessee now with the 2 backs, Panuska and Howard. 35 is Howard. This is Panuska. And Panuska gets inside the 45 to about the 43-yard line. We mentioned the redshirt freshman and Tennessee's leading ground gainer, Keith Davis, hurt with a shoulder injury. He is second down 8. Dickey. Incomplete. Benton Reed tipped it, number 83. Yard line of Ole Miss. We're early in the ball game from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. 10:04 to go, quarter number 1. You see that Ole Miss leads the conference in pass defense. They are last in rushing defense, though, so that's a misleading statistic. Dickey going long for his tight end, almost picked off right through the hands of Howard Moss, number 38, the nickelback, intended for Jeff Smith. Moss should have had that, probably. I'm sure he would agree. And Garman comes in to punt for the second time to do it. Twin safety, Goodlow and Ambrose. Garman with one of those pooch kicks. He's going to make it force a fair catch at the 13-yard line by J.R. Ambrose. So now Ole Miss will have to start with bad field position. Only a 29-yard punt, but very effective. We'll be right back. Outside their 15-yard line, and now Ole Miss having to start their drive inside the 15-yard line. About 4 yards out to the 19 goes Nathan Wansley, normally a tailback play. He's a little guy, 5'9", 185, a senior from Moss Point. And there's Johnny Majors. He had 200 yards against Ole Miss during his playing career here at UT, passing and running the ball one year.
I think John sometimes performs better under adversity, and that's one of the things that he talks about. His team has certainly faced it this year.
On 2nd down 4, Wansley tripped up at the line, ran into the back of his own player, 61 Danny Hoskins. They'll spot the ball back at the 20-yard line.
As you remember, we watched Mississippi for Billy Brewer's first year, and this year he opened up the offense with Ken Austin against Mississippi State. He opened it up last year. I think what you're going to see is a lot more conservative style. Don't make a mistake. Don't do anything on offense to contribute to a defeat.
Wansley on 3rd down 4. First down, Ole Miss. The tackle for Tennessee, Osgood, is 0 for 1. Dickey 3 first down, Ole Miss. Scoreless ball game. 8:33 to go. Quarter number 1. Nothing going this time. Richard Cooper wraps up Nathan Wansley. Cooper at 6'6", 275, number 77.
They love him here. You hear that in the background. Coop. I think that the defense of Tennessee gets a lot more applause and creates a lot more excitement at least so far this game, more than the offense.
There's the young freshman, true freshman, Chris Osgood from Moss Point, Mississippi. They were trying to redshirt him, but called him into duty. Wansley, close to the first down. He was slung down by freshman Brian Kimbrough. And Holder and Rogers, the receivers in there now for Ole Miss. They hand it off again out to the 40-yard line. Chris White with his first tackle of the day on Nathan Wansley. And Wansley is going to just be the workhorse, no question about that. That's his 6th carry already this afternoon.
They'd love to do this all afternoon. What's happening here is they're keeping their defense off the field. As the game wears on, his smaller players get beat up a little bit.
2nd down 7, just inside the 40. Here comes Wansley again. Only a couple knocked out of bounds as the ball came loose, but he went out of bounds. Kelly Ziegler with the tackle. Ziegler is sophomore from Miami, Florida, number 49, one of the fine inside linebackers for Tennessee.
I was talking to him yesterday, Bob, and he said that Kelly Ziegler, that I talked at one of his football banquets, and I was worried he was going to say his 6th grade football banquet. But thank goodness it was a high school banquet at Palmetto High School.
All right, a 3rd down conversion situation for Ole Miss. It's 3rd down 4 at the 43. Volunteer fans cheering on this defensive unit. Here comes Wansley. He's hit at the 45 and does not get the first down. It was Kelly Ziegler with the tackle, and that's his 3rd of the afternoon.
He's their leading tackler. He gets around the football. He and Dale Jones, well, as you mentioned, that whole group of linebackers, Miller and Kimbrough, Jones and Ziegler, they're very mobile. They get to the football.
So Kramer will go back to take the punt for the University of Tennessee Volunteers. Kramer averages 5.9 yards per punt return. Bill Smith, though, can punt him as long as 94 yards, as you see there, holds the record in the SEC. Had a 59-yarder last time out. They're coming after him. The ball is loose. Tennessee ball at the 38. The Volunteers were all over Smith. I think it was Chris White, number 7, who hit him. There's the man, Chris White.
Tennessee said they were going to try to pressure the punter, try to shake Smith a little bit, and they're all over him. He didn't. They got to him before his foot even got to the ball. Watch it on the right side. Chris White coming underneath. A 5th-year senior that has just really come to life this year. Hadn't played much coming into this season. Already has 6 interceptions, now a blocked punt.
Oh, the big turnover. Remember, Tennessee leads the nation in causing turnover. That's number 43, Henderson. He doesn't get much against that Ole Miss defensive line. He stopped right at the line of scrimmage, but Tennessee with excellent field position and a good opportunity. It's a scoreless game. 6:05 to go, quarter number 1.
I think that was Bubba Dickey that put the hat on him, wasn't it? And we saw him get his first SEC experience against LSU. I think he made 3 tackles out of the first 5 plays, and he stopped Sam Henderson right in his tracks in that one.
2nd down 9, Volunteers. Dickey, near side. It's complete, and down to the 28-yard line goes Tim McGee. A 10-yard pass reception for the senior wide receiver, one of the only all-star candidates on the offensive Tennessee team.
Good-looking play. The slot man is picking off the first defensive back from the inside. By the time McGee gets the ball and heads upfield, he has a couple of offensive linemen out in front to lead the way. Mississippi is going to have to get somebody up in McGee's face a lot quicker.
27.5-yard line. It's near side hash mark. Erling Scales splitting wide to the right side. 27, Eric Swanson splitting wide to the left side for Tennessee on first down 15 from the 32-yard line now. Panuska gets back most of the 5-yard penalty, but that's all. Bubba Dickey with the tackle again. And since Huddleston started the game at that inside linebacker, the weak side linebacker spot, Dickey came in, and as you mentioned, Tim, Dickey has been doing a good job there.
Here you saw Ron Zook, the secondary coach, talking to his players, trying to get them ready for the next time on the field.
Second down 10, Tennessee. Swanson, McGee, the wideouts now. Single setback is William Howard. Dickey, 4 out of 6 for 44 yards throwing the ball so far. He's going to put it in the air again. Looking into the end zone, has his man, overthrew him. He was looking for the tight end, Jeff Smith, who was open at the goal line, covered by Joe Nathan Shelley.
Jeff Smith had it on the outside. They were playing that defense, Bob, where they hang the weak safety short, not all over the front.
Ole Miss in their nickel defense now on third down 10 from the 27-yard line. 3-man rush. Almost picked off, but it was caught by McGee. To the 5. Stevan Moore almost picked it off. Number 27 for Ole Miss, but almost only counts in horseshoes.
We're going to watch Mississippi secondary here. This is a big play by McGee. Stevan Moore, it's kind of a blitz situation, playing man-to-man short, breaks on the football, almost intercepts it, goes the other way. Good concentration on the ball by Timmy McGee. You saw Stevan Moore slide to the inside. He was covering McGee man-to-man, did not really have good vision on the ball.
First and goal from the 5. 3 tight ends. They give it to the big man, Henderson, who gets a couple down to the 3-yard line, but Simmons stops him there. Tim McGee, by the way, the receiver who just caught that ball, now has 107 career receptions, putting him second on the all-time Tennessee receiving list. He trails only all-time leader Larry Sievers, who played back in 74, 75, 76. So McGee now moves into number 2 for Tennessee. Second down goal from the 2. Good view for you here. There goes Henderson. Touchdown!
Job of movement by the right side of the Tennessee line. You see Boyce trying to come in there. He got picked off by a Tennessee running back, and Henderson just powers himself in. But obviously the big play in that scoring drive is the catch by Timmy McGee.
Here's Reveiz, who's now 20 out of 20 for point after touchdowns on the year. This is Super Football Saturday on Turner Network Television. Situation for Tennessee. The punt was blocked. They're going to say it was blocked, and that is the official ruling on it, even though I don't know the ball was hit by Chris White. When he rushed in on Bill Smith, Tennessee took it over 38 yards out, moved it in only 7 plays, and they now lead 7-0. But it was Chris White with the punt block that made the key play there for UT. Here's Reveiz with a squib kick. Coming down to Goodlow. Ran into his own man, gets out near the 25. They'll spot it at the 24-yard line. And Ole Miss trails now 7-0 with 3:09 to go, quarter number 1.
Chris White just came clean on that punt block, too, Bob. And sometimes people wonder how that can happen. Didn't he have a man assigned to him? And the answer is, of course, yes, he had a man assigned to him. But all year long, you're blocking your man, then trying to get downfield and make the tackle. What's paramount in your mind is to get down the field and make the tackle when the guy catches the punt. And sometimes you overlook the primary job of blocking someone.
First down 10. Plenty of time to throw for Osgood. This is what he does quite well. He goes down at the 31-yard line, scrambles for about 5. Cooper with the tackle. Coming into this ball game, Osgood had rushed the ball 8 times last week against Notre Dame for 23 yards. He literally is an offensive player in the backfield. He's not a scrambler avoiding a sack.
It's playing some quarterback for Tulane now.
9 straight running plays for Ole Miss. Make it 10. First down. out to the 41-yard line. Sean Sykes, a redshirt freshman, also from West Point, Mississippi. Ole Miss without a tight end now. They have 3 wideouts and 2 backs in the game on first down 10. J.R. Ambrose is open, makes the reception, juggles it. It'll be incomplete at the 48-yard line. Never controlled the ball. J.R. Ambrose, in my opinion, even though he's the leading receiver, the sophomore, Tim, I think is a little bit inconsistent. He doesn't deliver the catches he needs to on a game-by-game basis.
If they can keep running like this, though, it's going to be great for him.
Second down 10. Osgood, plenty of time. Doesn't see anybody. Finally throws it, attempts to throw it to the safety valve, Nathan Wansley, and throws it a little too hard. Good secondary coverage by this Tennessee defensive unit. And Billy Brewer's going to have to find a way to solve the Tennessee defense, and virtually nobody's been able to do that. Florida only scored 17 points on UT.
Been playing well defensively all year long. And what you saw there is what you usually see from a young quarterback. He wanted the tight end early. Tennessee linebackers did a nice job of taking the tight end away. Most young quarterbacks have a difficult time going to that secondary receiver. And as a result, he just started moving his feet and started to squirm out of the pocket.
Third down 10 from the 41-yard line of the Rebels. Osgood with pressure. Look at how quick he is. Whoa! Not quick enough to avoid that at the 28. Brian Kimbrough, number 55. The pressure came from 77 Cooper. But just as Osgood got out of the frying pan, he runs into the fire.
Darren Miller was blitzing. Cooper was up the gut. I'm surrounded, Mount. tried to get away with it out the back door, and there was somebody waiting.
We'll call him Chris Custer on that one. Osgood loses 12 on the sack by Brian Kimbrough. An excellent, aggressive UT defense. They've got 10 lined up at the line again. They blocked the last punt attempt by Bill Smith. Here they come again. Smith gets this one away. It's a cannon shot. Kramer at the 19. And down he goes at the 24. Excellent punt coverage by Ole Miss. Remember, they tried to block it with 10 and then got back to cover well. Butch Davenport, 28 with the stop. We'll be back to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. 1:15 to go, quarter number 1. UT 7, Ole Miss nothing. Comes out of the ball game for Tennessee, despite leading them down the field at 5 out of 8 for 66 yards and a nice reception to McGee. And in comes freshman Jeff Francis. The 7 out of 10 came against Rutgers. Here's Francis, freshman from Mount Prospect, Illinois. Incomplete. That should have been caught by William Howard. Francis is 6'3", 200 pounds. He has 1 interception, no touchdowns. Excuse me, no interceptions or no touchdowns. Longest pass he's thrown is 45-yard completion against Rutgers, as I say, and he's just a youngster from the state of Illinois.
John Majors just trying to get some backup experience in case something would happen to Dickey. You want your backup quarterback to have taken some snaps in a game that has not been decided yet.
Second down 10 from the 24. Francis with a screen set up very well. Only a gain of about 6 yards, though. William Howard with a reception. Harrod with the tackle. Howard out to the 31-yard line. Make it the 32. Let's see where they spot it. Now they move it back to the 31.
Kind of a double screen John Majors had set up in that play. Walt Harris up in the booth, offensive coordinator and quarterback mentor, calling the plays from up in the booth. He's been instrumental in bringing Dickey along as fast as he has, and of course a teacher for Tony Robinson.
Troy Hale, Sam Grady, the receivers in there for UT right now. This may be the final play of this quarter. Let's see if Francis can get it off in time after calling the audible. He does. He decides to give it to Henderson. First down and more for the 260-pounder. Now that's the way Henderson ran when he was a freshman before his knee injury. Frankly, he's been running tenderly since then. He said in the papers here in Knoxville this week, "I feel well again for the first time." You see how strong he is at 260.
You're going to see him go nose to nose with Fuzzy Huddleston here. Fuzzy Huddleston gets rid of the block and then pow. Nice job there. Defensively, at that point, you should have some other helmets coming in and hitting that running back, but Mississippi had no one there to help old Fuzzy. He took him out of bounds.
Gained him a couple on the play near the 40-yard line. It's William Howard, 35, playing there. Howard and Henderson are in the backfield at the same time. Henderson normally a fullback. Today, though, playing some at tailback. That's the end of the first quarter. Dickey's not playing, by the way, because they want to get some time on the other quarterbacks. We'll be back in just a moment. This is Turner Network Television. Game is being brought to you by the new Valvoline 4Guard, the motor oil for today's harder-working four-cylinder engines. Now we go to 2nd down 8. First play of the second quarter. The ball at the 39-yard line. Neyland Stadium, Knoxville. Bob Neal and Tim Foley with you. Tennessee leading 7-0. Here is freshman Jeff Francis. All day to throw. Runs out of the pocket, needs a block. And his man out there on that side, number 63, Phil Stewart, never did see the man he needed to block, so not much gain on the play. Harrod and Fitzsimmons with the tackle. Tim, once again, talk a little bit more about why Tennessee would go away from Dickey and to Francis at this point in the game as you look at those first quarter stats.
Well, so often the only time you use a backup quarterback is when the game's over. They're not used to playing under pressure. And another reason that Johnny Majors can get away with it, or he feels he can get away with it, is because he's got such a strong defense. He doesn't feel like he's going to lose any ground anyway.
Now it's 3rd down 8 from the 39-yard line. Francis. It is complete. Short of the first down at the 45-yard line. And driven out of bounds is Tim McGee. That's McGee's 4th catch of the afternoon. And Tennessee will have to turn the ball over again. And Bob Carmen comes in to punt. So Ole Miss could end up with some decent field position here, depending on the effectiveness of this Garmin punt. Goodlow and Ambrose in there to take the punt.
In order to win this football game, Mississippi has got to make some big plays somewhere along the line. They won't consistently drive the ball down the field on this Tennessee defense. They're going to have to rip off some long gains through the air on the ground, block some punts, or do something.
Not a very good punt. It is taken by Goodlow. Oh, he is hit hard at the 25-yard line. I don't know by who, but somebody really popped him down there. That's where Ole Miss will set up their offense. Goodlow getting those cobwebs out. We'll be right back.
And times, when you've got your man picked out, you develop tunnel vision, and bong. Willie says, not me, Lester.
I think they just offered Brinkley an orange jersey. Lester, would you like to play on our punt coverage team? Nice hit. First down 10. Ole Miss from the 25. Continuing to run the ball out to about the 28-yard line goes Nathan Wansley. And Wansley is just carrying it over and over again 9 times now in a quarter and just a little more.
The ball more than 4 or 5 times. They got to get it in the air.
Osgood's going to put it in the air. Boy, he rifles it. It's complete to the tight end, Mario Perry.
And the point that I was trying to make is that this Mississippi team has been a pass-oriented football team up until the injury to Ken Austin. Now they're going to have to kind of re-gear and get used to grinding things out down the field. Looks like Mario Perry is going to be a target for...
To go first half. Tennessee 7, Mississippi nothing. First down 10, Ole Miss Rebels. Here's Osgood. He's got a lot of running room. Dives forward, loses the ball. Hit the turf, and they're going to say that the ball will be spotted at the 43 and remain in the possession of Ole Miss. An 8-yard gain.
When he's getting into a diving form there, looked like his knees were down by the time he'd lost the ball, but you got to cover that rascal up, Chris.
Guess who covered it? Watch for 54.
The ball is down and now comes out. Good call by the referee. And Dale Jones. I think Dale Jones has got a magnet in his body that attracts leather.
Second down 2. Here comes Wansley. First down, running hard. He fumbles. Ole Miss falls on it, and that was a fumble recovered by Ole Miss at the 44. Michael Smith fell on it, who was downfield blocking.
To be honest with you, I didn't think Mississippi would be able to move the ball at all on Tennessee on the ground. Charlie Davis knocks the ball out. And fortunately for Mississippi, Michael Smith is there.
It's a first down. They spot the ball just inside the 45-yard line. Tennessee leading 7-0. After Chris White blocked the Bill Smith punt, McGee caught a key reception at the 5. 2 plays later, Henderson took it in for Tennessee. They're going to run it again. Only a couple of yards this time to the 43. Richard Cooper with the stop. They're unpiling down there.
They tried to trap Mark Havanek on that play, and Havanek just stuffed it. But he's been a dominating force in the Tennessee defensive line. Bunch of sacks, just played real well.
11-12 to go, first half, second down 8. Sean Sykes and Nathan Wansley, the running backs, in there for Ole Miss. 13 quarters now. The Tennessee defense has not given up a touchdown. Oh, but they're knocking on the door. It is complete to Sykes out of the backfield. First down, Ole Miss to the 13-yard line.
You can't put the ball was perfectly thrown. Bingo.
Dale Jones.
Dale Jones, never far from the ball, lays it on Chris Osgood. He didn't see that completion, but what a throw by Chris Osgood.
Holder, Ambrose are the receivers. First and 10 at the 18. They give it to Wansley to the 9-yard line. Nathan Wansley running hard, zigging
In front of 93,000 people.
Second down 2, Wansley. First down to the 6-yard line, Nathan Wansley. Jones with the tackle. The Ole Miss will have it first and goal just outside the 5, trailing Tennessee 7-0. 9:45 to go. Quarter number 1, and Billy Brewer's got this offense clicking for Ole Miss. They were trailing. They were being shut out by Notre Dame last week until they inserted Chris Osgood at quarterback, and Osgood directed one drive. First and goal from the 6. Sykes to the 1-yard line. Darren Miller with a stop for Tennessee. Second and goal, and it's inside the 1-yard line.
Well,
And 7 minutes. Tennessee defense has not allowed a touchdown. Sykes.
Look at that effort.
Touchdown.
Sykes carries for the Ole Miss touchdown.
One thing that always scares you when you get down close is the back running laterally. That's the way you want the back to go. But Sykes ducks underneath the tackle, breaks the tackle of Jones and Miller, and takes it into the end zone. He runs with a lot of power for a young man his size.
75-yard drive. Brian Owen, the freshman, with the point-after attempt here.
I don't think I've ever heard 93,000 people any quieter.
They are, in fact. This game is tied 7-7. 8:46 remaining in the second quarter. This is Super Football Saturday on Turner Network Television. Sykes, number 46, the freshman, with the touchdown run for Ole Miss.
The Tennessee defensive line does its job, gets the back running sideways, but then Sean Sykes does his job and fights his way into the end zone. His knee hits, falls into the end zone. It's a touchdown.
That's his first ever collegiate touchdown, as John Howard kicks this thing out of the end zone, and Ole Miss nails Tennessee for a touchback, and the Vols bring it out to the 20-yard line. 75-yard drive. That 26-yard pass to Sykes set up the touchdown, so it's only fitting that Sykes would carry the ball into the end zone. The freshman having a good game at tailback. Remember, Nathan Wansley, normally the tailback for Ole Miss, playing fullback today. We've got a tie ball game. Tennessee needs to beat Ole Miss, needs to beat Kentucky and then Vanderbilt to win the Southeastern Conference.
And Johnny Majors says that's enough experience for Jeff Francis. Let's get Doug Dickey back into the game.
Well, my question earlier, it just makes you wonder. And he fumbles the ball. I know I sound like I'm riding a tired horse here, but you run a guy in and out like that, I think you might have those kind of problems.
You might, you're talking about breaking his momentum, breaking his stride. I think that you might be right if it wasn't a fifth-year guy like Doug Dickey, who isn't really used to playing a lot. But it'll be, I'll guarantee you, that there'll be some questions about that if Tennessee doesn't come out on top in this football game as you watch Robert McGraw talking to his offensive line. He's from Mississippi. Got to be proud of those guys.
Second down, 12, Tennessee. Dickey. Plenty of time to throw. Can he find anybody? Not yet. Dickey going for a few yards. He gets back about half of them. He goes to the 26-yard line. Jay Webb with the stop. An 8-yard gain for Darrell Dickey. So now a big conversion situation coming up for the Volunteers. Tied 7-7.
That time he was looking for Timmy McGee deep. Timmy McGee working on Stevan Moore. Watch this. He's going to give him a little move to the inside or outside, and then boom, up the field. Now he's got him beat. The problem at that point is that I think he was out of Dickey's range throwing the ball into the wind, so Dickey just decided to run it out of there.
Dickey wings it over to the side. It is complete for the first down to 27, Eric Swanson. Swanson at 5'11", 185, gets very little publicity on this team. But according to Johnny Majors, professional football scouts are down here looking at number 27 all the time. They like him. He blocks well, he catches the key passes, and he's a good possession receiver, as you saw right there.
And he's a vicious blocker. He's kind of a Jeff Groth, Howard Twilley type of receiver, and he'll throw his body around.
First down 10 from the 31-yard line. Tennessee and Ole Miss tied 7-7. 7:24 to go. First half. Dickey taking it upstairs. That's McGee. Underthrown. Great grab by McGee at the 24.
Timmy McGee working on Joe Nathan Shelley. So often you'll see this happen. Shelley in great shape. But McGee more used to making the reception, as we watch it from another angle, out-position Shelley for the ball. And at this point, if you're a defensive back, you're thinking, don't touch him, don't get a flag, don't let anything like that happen. And sometimes it takes away some of your aggressiveness in terms of going for the football. Nice body positioning by Tim McGee.
45-yard reception. Here's a pitch to Henderson, the big tailback, but they stop him at the line of scrimmage. You know, because of the NCAA rules this year on pass interference, I think I might coach my defensive back on a long 45-yard possible gainer to go ahead and interfere. It's only a 15-yard penalty.
No question about it. I think that if you're beat or if you've been set up, somebody's running a turn and go or out and up on you, and I'd grab that guy. I'd rather have it move 10 yards down the field than have the probability of a 70-yarder being completed.
This will be second down. Actually, they've moved the ball back outside the 10, a little bit of a loss on the play. So second and a long 10 now for Tennessee. Passing formation. Dickey. Incomplete. Intended for McGee near the first down marker at about the 14-yard line. McGee has 5 catches, 85 yards on the day.
Here they come.
And here they do. And so Tennessee runs the ball. They hand it to 21 Powell. He gets nowhere. Line of scrimmage. Boo Birds come out here at Neyland Stadium. Noblin with the tackle. And here come the field goal team members. And Carlos Reveiz, Tennessee's kicker, a junior from Miami. Yes, he is the brother of Fuad, who's now with the Miami Dolphins. And Reveiz is really the front runner for all-conference kicker now. He's 6 out of 7 from this distance between the 40 and 49. 17 out of 21 on the year. It looks good. It's perfect. Reveiz gives Tennessee the lead. 10-7 with 5:30 to go. Quarter number 2 from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Schools of the Southeastern Conference have compiled a 33-6-4 record versus non-conference opponents, a winning mark of 81%. In the past 3 years, 19 SEC teams have seen postseason play. Another example of the strength of the Southeastern Conference. So Tennessee has taken the lead here by a score of 10-7 on a 43-yard Carlos Reveiz field goal. 8-play drive that was really the key play was that reception by McGee. Here comes Goodlow. He almost got through that gauntlet down at the 25-yard line. He was brought down by 39 Tim Welch, a senior from Knoxville. And now we're going to go back to our studios in Atlanta for this college football update.
Michigan and Minnesota, 7-0.
Giving to Wansley. Wansley with only a couple of yards as this Tennessee crowd has come to life following the field goal and the Tennessee lead. Hovanek with the stop, number 59, the defensive right tackle.
You know, it's a good thing we don't do Big Ten games. I just want you folks to know that Neil was back here signaling touchdown for Go Blue, Michigan.
Well, I just felt it in my bones. You know, I could see that it was about to develop there. By the way, we'll have updates on that very important game in regard to possibly even the Sugar Bowl, with Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State all being potential Sugar Bowl candidates. We'll give you highlights of that all afternoon. Scores of all the action. What a nice throw by Osgood. But it's incomplete, intended for Andre Rogers at the 41. Excuse me, Jamie Holder.
Watch this poise displayed by Chris Osgood. And here's what scares you as a defensive coordinator. Look at that athletic ability. Comes around, tries to get it to Holder across the middle, and Andre Kramer extends his body, makes a beautiful play.
So that'll bring up third down. Third down 8. 4:40 to go, second quarter. Tennessee 10, Ole Miss 7. Ole Miss showing some spunk here, though. You can see they haven't got many yards passing. Tennessee's a couple of long gainers. Osgood under a lot of pressure. Penalty markers down. Pass intended for Sykes, but 2 Tennessee players. Dale Jones was back there, along with Brian Kimbrough. It may go against, and does, Ole Miss. Holding.
Tennessee will decline the penalty, and Mississippi will be in a punting situation again.
Holding Ole Miss, decline for Tennessee.
Here comes Bill Smith in again. He had a 59-yarder, a 52-yarder. Of course, in between, he had a blocked punt. Very slow getting the ball away. It looks that way to me, Tim.
Very, very deliberate. It's like the guy going to try to lift a lot of weight. You know, it takes a lot of time. And Tennessee made him pay for it once.
Tennessee has 10 men at the line, now dropping one off. Pretty good punt here. It's going to hang up there. Kramer at his 24. Down to the 43-yard line goes Andre Kramer. Frank Porter, number 15, with the stop. That was a 49-yard punt and a 19-yard return. This is Turner Network Television. Quarterbacks continues. Back comes Jeff Francis, who had played only about 10 minutes prior to this game. Dickey led the balls down for the field goal. Now Francis comes back in, the freshman from Mount Prospect, Illinois, in the Chicago area, on the first down. It's complete to Swanson. He goes out of bounds at the 49-yard line of Ole Miss, a gain of 7.
See, Bob, we just look at it as one game. We look at it as one season. I think Johnny Majors is probably looking at it more for next year than anything else. You know, he's got to line up in this league and play 10 next year, and you'd hate to do it with a quarterback that hasn't played much.
On second down now, long 2, Tennessee. Francis, another audible. 3 wideouts in there for UT on this. Over the middle, wide open is Tim McGee. First down, 37-yard line. Tackled by Fuzzy Huddleston. I like this young man, Jeff Francis, in terms of the arm. He can rifle it.
They're leaving the slot totally uncovered. A nice read. Flakes was set up, moved on the outside guy. What Everett Flakes was thinking, of course, was a screen to the flanker that they'd run so effectively. Francis sat right in there, watched Flakes run through the slot, and popped him, McGee, with the ball.
McGee, 1,835 yards, number 2 in the history of Tennessee. A lot of people call this wide receiver U. Handoff Powell. Penalty markers down. Powell struggles out here. They're going to say he got to the 31-yard line, 32 before he went down. But a penalty marker in the Tennessee backfield. 3:43 remaining in the second quarter. Tennessee leading 10-7. Tennessee hopefully on the way to the Sugar Bowl. Ole Miss trying to provide the roadblock. Face mask Ole Miss. Oh, they'll tack that on. And it'll be a first down. And the severity of it, depending on whether the official thinks it was flagrant or not. Probably not flagrant. That's right. 5 yards, first down to the 26.5. Here's Al Ford.
An incidental face mask against the defense. 5 yards, first down.
So Tennessee gets the first down on that call, and this freshman quarterback, only 19 years old, Jeff Francis, he came in here locked in a 3-way battle for the number 3 quarterback position when this season started. Play fake. He's going to run it. Not going to run it very far, though. 71, Michael Fitzsimmons levels young Jeff Francis. There you see the time remaining in the first half. Penalty marker is down. You can see it on the field on the right side of your screen there. Personal foul, Ole Miss. Oh, that'll be a big one. So 2 consecutive penalties aiding Tennessee on this drive. Or maybe it was away from the ball. Here's Powell twisting and turning to the 12. Tennessee leading 10-7, 2:56 to go second quarter, aided by penalties, penetrating the 15 and now close to the 10-yard line of Ole Miss.
Tennessee is bound for the sugar. TBS, how about that?
That was creative. Those East Tennessee people can be very creative.
And there's a lot of discussion about whether Tennessee is the best team in the SEC and all that jazz, as there is every year as the season winds down. It's funny that some teams you play them every year and you beat them every year, and at the end of the year they'd say, well, if we played you later on in the season, we'd have beat you.
Second down 7, Tennessee from the 12. Francis. Touchdown, Tennessee. Tim Hendricks, number 89, the backup tight end. Penalty marker in the Tennessee backfield, so hold the celebration till we get the ruling. To the Tennessee backfield. Roughing the passer against Ole Miss. Tennessee counts. The touchdown will count. That was Francis' first touchdown pass.
Did a nice job of staying with the tight end, Tim Hendricks, too, because he was covered early and worked his way to the outside, found a soft spot in his own maybe catch.
That was only Hendricks' second touchdown catch. Point after is good. Tennessee has taken a 17-7 lead. This Jeff Francis, impressive. Nice throw here.
Reads the defense, looking right down the middle at the weak safeties with the tight end, looking at the tight end. The tight end breaks to the outside. It looked as though one of the Mississippi players was playing zone, was expecting help on the outside, and it was a man-to-man call. Because when he broke to the outside, Bob, nobody went with him.
Well, Hendricks very happy there, as you can see. He's from DeSoto, Texas.
And once again, the two-quarterback system pays off, see?
Just like you predicted.
Yeah, sure, yeah. It's always fun to predict after it happens, isn't it?
Well, Tennessee on the road to the Sugar Bowl in their minds, and they have to beat Ole Miss today, and then they got to go up and play Kentucky. And we'll be bringing you that game next Saturday afternoon at noon Eastern Time. The Volunteers of Tennessee and the Wildcats of Kentucky.
Against Ole Miss.
This afternoon, Florida leading Kentucky 6-0. That's in the first quarter. That's down in Gainesville. 2 field goals for Florida for that 6-point score. And Wake Forest leading Georgia Tech 7-3 in the second quarter. Syracuse in front of Boston College 14-0. Second period.
You know, one of the things that is really discouraging as a defensive coach, your defense is playing well, and you know they've got Torbush and Mickey Merritt and Ron Case working on defense for Mississippi, and then they come up and they just really whip themselves. They hand Tennessee on silly emotional fouls. They hand them 30 yards down the field, and that's just not intelligent play.
Tennessee brilliantly with an onside kick recovered. Tennessee, thanks to the fumble, brilliantly called an onside kick. Reveiz kicked it and recovered it. Reveiz, a running back, linebacker in Miami in high school, a real athlete, and watch this.
Just a perfect kick. You see the Mississippi man starting to retreat initially. Reveiz jumps on the ball, and those are chances that you can take when you have a defense that can play like Tennessee's defense. Because even if Mississippi gets the ball, they're at the 34-yard line, and they feel like they're in good shape.
Everybody at Neyland Stadium expecting Reveiz to kick it into the seats after the penalty, and that came on the roughing the quarterback play on the touchdown pass. And as Tim was telling you how severe those penalties are, and Ole Miss just got them right down the field. Penalty markers down again. Looked like Tennessee with a procedure call probably here.
In stopping out, stabbing that defensive man before he has an opportunity to charge across the line.
Skip Ellison, our producer, a real artist at work today with his replay selections. Here's Francis going for everything, but he throws it the wrong way. Closest man to the ball really was 35 Jeff Noblin. Either he threw it the wrong way or the intended receiver ran the wrong way.
We're going to see Timmy McGee working against Stevan Moore, and Moore does a nice job of coverage here. McGee sets up to go. going to run by more jams in.
Backs this year. Tony Robinson, Darrell Dickey, now young Jeff Francis. This is second down 15, Tennessee. The ball at the 39-yard line. And a draw play. Penalty markers down. Powell goes down after a gain of about 4. Possibly still in the hunt. Certainly Georgia. That's picked off at the 5-yard line. It was 27, Stevan Moore. McGee, the intent.
It's always fun to watch a man work to try to recreate a tradition, and that's what he's trying to do.
Osgood gives to Wansley. Number 59 is there. Oh, Marco Vanek having himself an excellent day. He's from Yorktown, Virginia. Just a sophomore, too. That's his 4th tackle this afternoon. He's also an excellent pass rusher.
I think he's got an opportunity to develop into as good a lineman as they've ever had here at Tennessee. Because he makes those big, overpowering plays. If you're a consistent player, you're never going to get a whole lot of press. But if you can come up with those big plays, then people are going to hear about you. They're going to watch for you and notice you and write about you and talk about you, and you'll get on these teams.
Oh, tough hit there. Only a couple of yards that time on the second down 11. It was Wansley hit this time by the nose guard, Richard Brown. He was helped by Lavoisier Fisher, and the clock runs down to double zeros. And these two teams go in, Ole Miss to regroup, and Tennessee to see if they can keep it going. We'll be back to Neyland Stadium in a moment. 7 at halftime, and now the University of Tennessee Marching Band, the pride of the Southland Band. Their director, Dr. W.J. Julian, drum major Ed Nichols. And let's watch and listen to some of the great hits from the big band era. Tennessee Pride of the Southland Band entertaining the 93,000 at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, where UT leads 17-7. Right after this commercial break, we'll be going to Craig Sager and Alec Hawkins in our studios in Atlanta for an update on all the activity in college football today. Stay with us. 17-7 at halftime at Neyland Stadium here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm Bob Neal, and I'm with the member of the team selection committee and the executive board of the Sugar Bowl, Milton Walther, who's here looking at the University of Tennessee Volunteers. Of course, the SEC champion goes to the Sugar Bowl. My first question to you, sir, is A lot of people in the press seem to think that the Sugar Bowl would just as soon somebody else eke out the SEC title than Tennessee, that maybe the Vols aren't quite as attractive a team as you'd like to see. How do you feel about it if the Vols were to win the way out and become the SEC champion?
Frankly, we're pulling for them all the way. I think they would be as effective bringing people into New Orleans and making a good game as anybody who could come there.
How about looking around the rest of the country? Today, of Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, I know you have bowl representative in all those Big Ten teams. Might one of them be down in the Sugar Bowl?
Yes, they're a fine bunch of teams there. Penn State, of course, is tops. I guess everyone's looking at them. Air Force is great. You've got the 3 Big Ten teams, and I guess the Big 8. They all have 2 or 3 teams this year.
I see Michigan way out in front of Minnesota today. Do you have any kind of, they're leading 17-7 in the second quarter. Do you have any kind of specific feel about whether Big 8 or Big 10 or independent from the East? Any feel at the Sugar Bowl for one of those teams particularly?
No, frankly, at this point, it's still way up in the air. I think after the games today, we'll have a lot better idea who's going.
Now, if, in fact, it ends up with a tie with Alabama, LSU, whoever it might be, how does the Sugar Bowl decide who they want to invite?
Well, it would be by their choice, and of course you'd look to see who is a better team, who might draw a better team, and you're looking for the best game, which is basically the name of the game.
And marquee value a little bit? In other words, maybe a team with a Bo Jackson might be a little more interesting than a team without one.
Of course, they don't have too many Bo Jacksons around, though. That would be a great team, too.
Milton Walter, I appreciate your joining us here, and we'll look forward to seeing a good matchup in the Sugar Bowl.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a moment to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is Super Football Saturday on Turner Network Television.
They are born in a large A.
Leading Ole Miss 17-7 at halftime. Everything got started for Tennessee with a defensive play that's happened so many times. Bill Smith, Ole Miss, about to punt. Here comes number 7, Chris White, blocks the punt. Tennessee takes it over at the 38-yard line of Ole Miss. Then 7 plays later, number 43, 260 pounds, Sam Henderson, in from 3 yards out. It's 7-0 Volunteers. Then Sean Sykes caught a big pass to get Ole Miss in scoring position. Then Sean Sykes, the freshman, takes it in for the touchdown. We have a tie game 7-7. That's midway second quarter. Now Daryl Dickey connecting with Tim McGee. This will be for 45 yards. Dickey, who shared time in the first half with young Jeff Francis at the quarterback position. Look at the great catch by an All-American candidate, Tim McGee. He'll be playing for somebody's pro team next year. Carlos Reveiz makes it 10-7 after that catch with his 43-yard field goal. It's 10-7 at that time. Now the new quarterback, redshirt freshman Jeff Francis out of Mount Prospect, Illinois, a surprise player today. He throws to backup tight end Tim Hendricks, number 89. 11-yard touchdown, 17-7. Volunteers lead at halftime. Interesting and an exciting first half of play. Ole Miss might have been damaged as much by penalty calls against them as maybe Tennessee's offense in some cases, Tim.
There's no question about it. I'm sure one of the things that Billy Brewer talked to the football team about at halftime is that just not beating yourself. Don't do stupid things that donates yards to the other team. And that's what they did in that one drive. They lost 30 yards that the Tennessee didn't have to earn, that Mississippi just gave to them.
Here's Carlos Reveiz ready to kick off for Tennessee. Number 24, Willie Goodlow, is on the goal line for Ole Miss. And it's going to go out of bounds. Team there. The Ole Miss Rebels trying to keep the ball on the ground. Very ineffective throwing the ball, only 33 yards. Tennessee, on the other hand, with 160 in the air and 202 total yards. That's a lot of air yardage against Ole Miss. Ole Miss leads the SEC in fewest yards allowed in the air coming into this game.
They've had a couple of long completions, and Ole Miss hasn't really tried to throw the ball that much. Chris Osgood rolling to the wide side of the field often.
And there, Ole Miss will go on offense. Here's what happened in the first half with possessions for Ole Miss. As you can see, they punted 4 times, and then the time ran out in the end of the second half after an Ole Miss interception. One excellent 75-yard drive for a touchdown with a key pass from Osgood to Sykes, and Sykes taking it in. So here comes freshman Chris Osgood, who they were trying to redshirt. He's only 2 out of 7 for 33 yards passing the ball. From the 24, they're going to run it again. Here's Sykes. A little bit of yardage where there wasn't much offered to the 30. Here's Sykes again, showing some nifty feet. He got the first down and a little bit more. 4 yards, 1 touchdown. And a big pass reception of 26 yards earlier that set up the touchdown. Here's Sykes again. Not this time. Nailed at the 40-yard line, and it was big Mark Hovanek who made his 6th tackle of the afternoon. Hovanek playing very well from the defensive right tackle position, working against Danny Hoskins or Jay Schimmel, whoever's playing in there at the time, on that Ole Miss offensive line.
And Kelly Ziegler just a half step behind him, blitzing up inside, as Ken Donahue, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, is known to do.
This will be 2nd and just about 10. Quick toss over the middle. It's complete to 81. Mario Perry, the tight end. Gain of about 6 on the play. White would be 3rd down 3. And when I say needs it, I mean to hang in this ball game. But here comes Tennessee. Hovanek, number 59. That's his first sack of the afternoon. A loss of 14. We told you he was an excellent pass rusher. The Tennessee, once again, opportunistic defensively. It looks like they're about to bend too much, and then wham. Kramer will stand at his 25. Bill Smith had 1 punt blocked. Tennessee has 10 on the line now, dropping 1 man off. Bill Smith, that's away a pretty good punt. Kramer right at his 25. That's 5 yards, about 7 yards before he's tripped up. Andre Kramer with the quick feet, and he goes down. They'll spot the ball at the 33-yard line, and that's where the Tennessee Volunteers, leading 17-7, will take over. 42-yard punt, 8-yard return. And at quarterback now, in the first half, Dickey was 6 out of 11 for 116 yards. Sharing time with freshman Jeff Francis. From the 33, here's Henderson. A 260-pound tailback gets a few out to about the 36-37. With Tennessee's 17-7 lead here, we might expect to see a very conservative Tennessee.
Once in a while, and that's what you're going to see.
That's what's happened in the first half. 2nd down 7. Volunteers from the 37-yard line. Here comes Jeff Powell in a tailback now. A little more speed than Henderson. Tries to get it to the outside, and he gets it to the 41 and knocked down there by Stevan Moore, number 27. There's Powell as a senior. He's from Nashville. This is 3rd down 2 Volunteers from the 41. Here's Powell. Close to the first down. May have to bring the sticks in. Michael Portis, number 60, with LSU's playing Mississippi State later today, tonight, in Baton Rouge. Good punt by Garman. Ambrose at his 17. Good job of getting a little bit out of it. A penalty marker down about the 35-yard line. We'll check that out. Southern Miss is playing at Alabama. 3 wide receivers in the ball game. And they hand it off to Sykes. He runs it out here near the 15, short of the 15. And we're going to go to our studios in Atlanta for a college football update. 1-0 over Minnesota. Michigan still technically eligible for the Big Ten title, but Iowa would have to lose. Michigan with a tie with Illinois earlier. Not much on the 2nd down 7. Hovanek is there again to stop Wansley. Mark Hovanek has just played himself a great ball game today. That's 8 tackles, and he also has a sack. Hoskins started at left guard, and freshman Jay Schimmel, who had his first start against Notre Dame's on that side, too. They're the ones having trouble with Hovanek. Osgood hit from behind, fumbles the ball. Dale Jones applied the pressure. Still no signal as to who's got it. Osgood never saw him. It was a blindside hit. And Al Ford, the referee's calling timeout. He's going to try to unpile it here to decide who has the ball. Ole Miss maintained possession. Osgood really took a shot. I think it's Dale Brown. Watch the left side of your screen here.
The line blocking to the left, protecting. Brown comes all the way around from the strong side, all the way around the tight end to make the hit there. And Mississippi is lucky to get the football. Bang. Dale Brown consistently, since his first game as a freshman. Excuse me, Dale Brown. What am I talking about?
You're thinking of LSU basketball.
Right, yeah. Dale Jones, been a superstar for Tennessee football.
It's 4th down now, and mix up the line here. Tennessee jumped over offside down there. Darren Miller went over and made contact with Ole Miss. I think the call may go against Ole Miss. Oh, it's rough for the Rebels right now. Here they are at Neyland Stadium, 93,000 people in here today. Tennessee with their sights on the Sugar Bowl, and this is a tough enough place to play anyway. They move it back to the 11.
Dead ball foul. Ball start. Offense. Still forward.
There's got a little bit of carry on the punt. Didn't look that good. Kramer. Penalty markers are down everywhere, and Kramer goes down at the 48. Maybe a clip on the play. If so, that'll certainly help Ole Miss's cause, because they were going to be giving away some great field position to Tennessee. As you can see, his rib area. Hope that young man is all right. Defensive back plays on the left corner for Tennessee. They can afford to lose him on first down 10. Dickey remains at quarterback. Wide open, the tight end, 81, Jeff Smith. Out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Dickey to Smith for 49 yards. Dickey up near 200 yards passing now.
Looks like his zone defense and just somebody didn't get back in there for Mississippi. I'm not sure who it was. They cleared out the weak side with the split end, so you don't see Joe Nathan Shelley till the end of this play. He was hatting it up down the field with the wide receiver. And it looked like one of the linebackers just did not get any depth at all, got sucked in by the play action and didn't pick the tight end up coming across.
They're checking on equipment for Dale Jones. I think he's all right. Here's handoff. Henderson to the 11-yard line. Goes 260-pound tailback Sam Henderson, tripped up by Michael Fitzsimmons. Tennessee leading 17-7, 7:35 to go third quarter. The Volunteers hoping to taste some sugar in about a little over a month and a half from now. But they've got to beat Ole Miss, and they got to beat Kentucky, and then they'll have to beat Vanderbilt. Kentucky's at Lexington. We'll have that game for you next week at noon Eastern time on our SEC Game of the Week. Henderson again, right side, hammering away at a now tiring Ole Miss defensive unit. He's short of the first down. To the 7 goes Sam Henderson.
Defensively, one of the things that you harp on as a coach or a coordinator is to eliminate the big play. Make them drive the ball down the field line. Don't give them those long 30-yard advances, and eliminate the mental mistakes. See, that was not that was a nice throw by Dickey and a good catch by Smith, but it wasn't dramatic. It was just a mental error by the Mississippi defense that provided them the opportunity to move so rapidly down the field.
Third down 2 at the 7-yard line. 3 tight ends in there, and actually 3 guards. Henderson's that big. Here's Powell, the tailback spot. First down, Tennessee. To the 4-yard line of Ole Miss. Let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. Bob Neal and Tim Foley with you. Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, Tennessee. 6:23 to go. Third quarter. Tennessee 17, Ole Miss 7, and Tennessee knocking at the door just inside the 5.
Michael Portis is covering a lot of ground from that middle slot.
Here comes Henderson near the 2-yard line. Junior from South Bend, Indiana. I always wondered how Johnny Majors got Henderson out from underneath the doorstep of Notre Dame. Michael Portis with the tackle again for Ole Miss. Tennessee came into this game just a little bit more than a 2-touchdown favorite. They lead by 10 now.
You wonder if a good high school athlete grows up in a town like South Bend. Do they get sick of hearing Notre Dame's name by the time they're ready to go to school? Do they want to get away from that type of thing? I don't know.
Second down goal from the 3. Henderson, touchdown, Tennessee. That's his second touchdown run of the day. He had a 3-yard run and another 3-yard run.
Just power football. Point that 250 in the right direction and just follow it.
Talk about the Chicago Bears using William Perry in the backfield. Everybody's been talking about that. Well, if you've got a fullback who weighs 260 and moving the tailback, you're accomplishing about the same thing.
But can he dunk the ball over the goalpost? The question to his future.
William Berry certainly can. Revés. That point after is good, and his consecutive point after touchdown string just continues. He's been perfect all year. This is Super Football Saturday on Turner Network Television. So Tennessee leads 24-7 now. On that scoring drive, Tennessee ran it 5 out of 6 times, but the one time they did throw it was the 49-yard pass to tight end Smith, and that was really the key play on the drive. Tennessee takes a 24-7 lead. There you see the statistics, consuming 228.
If you remember correctly, the last time we were here in 1983, the play that Mississippi used over and over and over again was that play action, drag the tight end back across the weak side.
Carlos Revés for the kickoff for Tennessee. The brother of Fuad Revés, who's with the Miami Dolphins now. In and out of the end zone. It'll be brought out to the 20-yard line, and Ole Miss better try to get something going now. I think we're going to find out about Osgood's throwing ability. He's 3 out of 8 for 40 yards. Hasn't had much of an opportunity here. Remember that when Ken Austin got hurt, as Tim told you earlier, this is a pass-oriented team under Ken Austin. They brought in David McKinney. He really couldn't get the job done. Then young Mark Young, who's really a child, a freshman from Jacksonville, who couldn't quite get it done. And they unredshirted Chris Osgood last week against Notre Dame to see if they can find one here. Incomplete. Once again, Andre Rogers had
This is any team in the country. They give you one look, and then by the time the ball's snapped, they're someplace else.
Well, this the Tennessee defense playing like some of the volunteer defenses of old since Ken Donahue came here from Alabama. You get a look at it right there. Dale Jones, his second sack. Lavoisier Fisher came right up the middle, number 40. In your picture, you saw 96 Tyrone Robinson, but there's the man, Dale Jones. A junior. He'll be back. Of course, Tim, as you hear it said so many times, you get a 24-7 lead. You know that Ole Miss is going to have to try to throw the ball, so they just lay their ears back and come on them.
Right. Well, one of the things that Chris Osgood is learning right now is go ahead and take your punishment, but don't keep going backwards. You know, if you're going to go down there. Don't go down there minus 10. And, you know, try to fight your way out and scramble. But that's if you see you don't have it, get down on the ground. Don't give up any more yardage.
3 sacks for losses of 39 yards for Ole Miss in this game. Penalty marker down in the backfield. I think 3rd down, 26 from the Ole Miss 3. Looked like somebody started earlier. No penalty flag. Out to the 9-yard line goes number 24, Willie Goodlow. Ole Miss trying really anything they can to get somebody in that backfield. Listen to the round of applause for the Tennessee defense. They got a name the defense contest going on here in Knoxville. And among the suggestions for this defensive team, Major's Maulers, the Big Orange Wave, the Orange Crush, seems like I've heard that one somewhere before, Smokey's Bandits, and the one I like best, the Rocky Stops. Here's Bill Smith, of course, Rocky Top, the Tennessee fight song. They almost blocked it. They didn't, and there's going to be a penalty against the Volunteers. McGee, fair catch, having a rough time under this Tennessee pressure today. But that works into the favor of Ole Miss, and Osgood has them out of the hole now at the 23 on a 1st and 10. No pressure this time. It as he throws. Incomplete pass. It was, guess who? Number 54, Dale Jones.
Watch Dale Jones work from the left of your screen. Nathan Wansley tries to pick him up. Try to get your head in the middle there, Nathan. Dale Jones throws him off to the side and grabs a hold of Osgood's arm as the ball is being released. He's the type of guy that makes things happen. He's a real catalyst for that defense. He's a real spark provider.
How about that interception against an Alabama game? Here comes Goodlow. Gets back a few of those lost yards. He's down to about the, the 27-yard line. Kelly Ziegler with the tackle. Late in the Alabama game, Mike Shula, who is one of the headiest quarterbacks I've seen in the nation, is about to throw a pass, and Dale Jones intercepts it from about 4 yards away.
Yeah, Shula was throwing a screen pass out to the side, and Dale Jones went up in the air instead of blocking the ball, as most people would do, is able to make the catch.
Probably the key play in that Alabama game defensively. 3rd down 5 from the 28. Here comes Osgood. Pressure again. Just threw it away. Oh, Tennessee's really coming hard now, and it was Dale Jones pressuring the quarterback. Osgood running for his life.
Trying to roll out to the weak side here. Jones is thinking containment. Keeps Lonsley away from his feet. Pressures the passer.
You know, you name 4 great linebackers in this league, and you think of Cornelius Bennett. You have to think of Alonzo Johnson, Michael Brooks at LSU, and I think Dale Jones at Tennessee. I'd like to have those 4 playing on my football team.
You have a pretty good team.
Yeah,
I don't think you can afford them, though. Not now, but when they're out of this league.
Here's Tim McGee from the 23. Out to the 26-yard line. You know, too bad guys like Dale Jones and Cornelius Bennett don't ever get considered for the Heisman Trophy. The Heisman, I got my ballot in the mail just the other day. The Heisman voting, of course, everybody talking about it. And I think if Bo Jackson gets...
The person that leads his team to a #1 ranking really should get a lot of weight.
Here's Jeff Powell around right in. It's open for the 1st down. Powell with some shifty feet. And he gets out here to the 45. Powell running a little bit like his old coach Johnny Majors used to run out the tailback in the single wing, a 19-yard gain. Johnny will like the look of this.
Just kind of a counter trap, and he's outside right now, out around Fitzsimmons, and Joe Nathan Shelley turns him back to the inside, and another Mississippi defensive back hit the turf, and the pursuit finally got him. But, you know, well, we'll talk about it in a second.
There's William Howard with the ankle. He will not return, we understand. William Howard had been starting at fullback for Tennessee today since they moved Henderson. Here comes Powell. He's running hard today, getting some good effective blocking, of course, too. Michael Fitzsimmons with the tackle. Tennessee's just going to keep hammering here. 157.
But I'm not sure that his play this year deserves the Heisman Trophy.
2nd down 6. Tennessee check off at the line of scrimmage by Dickey. He gives it to the front man in the eye, and it's a 1st down. That's Henderson, who's moved back to fullback since Howard went out. And Henderson gets the 1st down. You say that, who do you think then is in the running? Long at Iowa, Bosco. I don't know that there's another running back who can challenge.
Well,
defensive players are just not going to get
injured in those 2 critical games.
I read the only story I've seen all year. We see Dickey under pressure here on the 1st down. That was a lot of action. Great play for a 5-yard gain. Jeff Powell, the safety valve, taking the toss from Dickey. The quarterback pressure from 38, Howard Moss. Watch him. He's the nickelback. He comes in on Dickey here. There he comes.
Once again, they're trying to drag. You saw the tight end run through your screen there. They were trying to hit the tight end deep and across. A good job of coverage by Mississippi. Also a nice job by both the cornerbacks that find themselves in a lot of one-on-one situations. As you look at Ron Zook talking to the Tennessee secondary.
2nd down 5 at the 40-yard line of Ole Miss. 59 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. Here comes Powell again. Short of the 1st down to about the 37. Let's take a look at some of the scores when they're at their I think, most adversity.
Yeah, right. They come off the mat well.
Well said. I was talking about Lorenzo White as we were discussing that summer from Moscow. It's 3rd down 2 from the 37-yard line. Volunteers, conversion situation. Dickey.
Great play.
And the ball came loose, I believe. Yes. Would have been a great play. It was intended for Swanson. Great play defensively. Maybe that's what you meant. Garmin, good with pooch punting. Let's see how he does here, if he can get it inside the 10. He does. Mark that down. Oh, what a great job by Bob Garmin. Only a 33-yard punt, but it's downed inside the 5 by Nate Middlebrooks. Let's go to Atlanta now for a college football update. Annual battle with Minnesota. As I mentioned before, Michigan, Ohio State, and Iowa all still in the battle for the Big Ten championship. Iowa really in the driver's seat, as Michigan has that tie with Illinois earlier. And last we heard, Ohio State was losing. We'll keep you updated on all the scores around the country when we return. Round 7, Ole Miss trailing Tennessee 24-7. Ball on the Ole Miss 6-yard line. Quarterback draw, not enough. Few yards for Osgood, out to about the 11 or 12-yard line. you know, we continue talking about, we said Chuck Long.
I think Chuck Long of Iowa.
4 TD passes last week.
In this era of everybody jumping for the money, he passed it up and stayed an extra year.
Out to the 17-yard line goes Nathan Wansley, an Ole Miss. Here's Chris Osgood. Has a man open. It is incomplete at the 23. Juggled and dropped by Michael Smith, number 91. By the way, yours truly, Tim Foley, and Mr. Practice Horning will be together. We also have scouts at the Air Force BYU game, Michigan, Minnesota, Auburn, Georgia, Southern Miss, Alabama, Tech, Wake Forest game, the All-American Bowl people. Osgood under pressure. Can't find anybody either. Tim, as you get a wide view of this field down here, and from about the 7 stories up press box we're in, you get a wide view. You can see that Tennessee's all over these Ole Miss Rebels.
Just doing a nice job of coverage. And what the best thing to do is, I think that Osgood, as you saw him deliver the ball, I think he was looking downfield, saw it wasn't there, and he almost just sidearmed it into the dirt. We're up there in those windows way atop the stadium here.
We're so high, Air Foley has on his goggles and his helmet.
Yeah, let's see.
You don't fly your airplane much higher than this, do you?
No.
You can't follow the expressway if you get much higher. On 3rd down 10. Osgood. Incomplete. Almost picked off. Tipped by 16 Tommy Sims. And then Charles Davis, number 22, dived for it but couldn't get it. Boy, that was
Look at Charlie.
dodging a bullet.
Watch Charlie here now. He finished second in the voting for his class vice presidency here at Tennessee, and he was doing a little politicking here. On the ground, Charlie tried. Now, his mother's name is Hildred, and she doesn't like me calling him Charlie. His name is Charles, so I apologize for that misrepresentation of your son's name. Charles.
How about Chuck
Davis?
4th down 10. Bill Smith in to punt again today. No pressure this time. Oh, can this man punt the ball? Strongest leg I've seen in years. And not much doing on the return. That was Tim McGee. Got it out to the 33-yard line. 55-yard punt, 5-yard return. This is Turner Network Television. Day, and they're giving away prizes for the most interesting orange-clad spectator. Don't see any winners there in that group. Sorry, folks. 1st down 10 from the 34-yard line. Tennessee leading 24-7, 13:25 to go in the football game. Darrell Dickey has remained at quarterback. And he gives to Powell, who gets it out near the 40-yard line. Tennessee content now to just run this ball and eat up the clock. Dickey giving to Jeff Powell again. Jeff's having his entire career here. He has not played a lot for Tennessee. Powell's been the workhorse here in the second half. We were talking Heisman Trophy. Let's not just drop that. And Bo Jackson, clearly the front runner at this point. But what about defensive players, Tim? Cornelius Bennett has had a great year for Alabama.
Cornelius Bennett has. Michael Brooks hasn't been around long enough. Yeah, I haven't stayed up with the defensive players around the country. We get kind of locked into this league, and they've got some great players here, but I don't think anyone would be in the running for that vote.
And, you know, a defensive player is just not going to win it. Sam Henderson driving to the 49 for the 1st down, Tennessee. Tennessee has 2 all-stars. Speaking of good defensive players, one, of course, all-star candidates has to be Dale Jones, who I think will be an all-conference linebacker. And Chris White, who wasn't even thought as a sure starter to begin the season, has come on and has 6 interceptions and has played very well. And there's Smokey, the Blue Tick Hound, the Tennessee mascot, having himself just a wonderful afternoon.
He's keeping the flies off our cameras.
Yeah, we had a lot of comments about the fly on the lens of the camera last week. We got that cleared off, though, this week. Here's Dickey. Plenty of time. He's going long, but Swanson pulled up short. Swanson couldn't get past his man, covering very closely on the play.
And so often when you're a cornerback, you're playing well, you're not mentioned because all that happens is they don't throw your man the ball.
2nd down 10 from the 49. Here comes Powell, twisting and turning, showing some quickness. 5'10", 170 pounds. Short of the 1st down. They'll spot it at the 44-yard line of Ole Miss. Look at this hole, though.
Both linebackers, one linebacker blitzing in the wrong hole, it looked like, as Moss comes in to clean it up.
11-11 to go in the ball game. Tennessee 24, Ole Miss 7. Third down, 3 Volunteers at the 44 of the Rebels. Ole Miss 1-3 in the conference, 3-5-1 on the season coming into this game. And of course, they were crippled badly by the loss of Ken Austin. Here's Henderson. Short of publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Southeastern Conference and the Turner Broadcasting System Incorporated is prohibited. Walls is okay, and off the field, we're happy to report. We'll check to see just what the nature of that was. Looked like maybe he got hit in the Adam's apple. This will bring up 4th down for Tennessee, 4th and 2, and they're going to go for it. Again, relying on the defense, knowing that they're inside Ole Miss territory. Need to go to the 41 for the first down. And Dickey, as we've seen happen so many times by offensive teams, drew a freshman offside as he changed that cadence count. Offside, Ole Miss. That'll give Tennessee the first down.
Zoom. Now, they outlawed that in the NFL a little bit. They call that the head bob. And I got a chance to play with the master of that, Bob Greasy. He could get folks jumping all over the place, just changing the inflection in your voice. And it's difficult, but you have to discipline yourself as a defensive lineman. Watch the ball. That time he got one of his own guys.
Old 71 Michael Fitzsimmons said, okay, you got us once, but now this time I'm going to pop you if I'm going to jump off sides.
I think Tennessee.
There you see. That's the guard. That's Bruin, I think, there. It moved back, or Harry Galbraith. I couldn't see his number, but they're calling the penalty against Ole Miss. Coming under the ruling of when you're hot, you're hot.
Got a dead ball foul, illegal procedure by the defense, hollering the cadence.
And when you're not.
Yeah, he moved
They
first.
say, though, Tim, what was it? He said something about
He
the
said
defense?
the defense calling the cadence.
Aha, which is illegal. First down and 5 now at the 34-yard line. Dickey, screen right side. Joey Clinkscales, blazing speed. Too much traffic, though, and he goes down at the 20. First down, Tennessee flakes with a stop. Tennessee driving again, leading 24-7. 9:54 to go in this ball game. 14-yard gain to Joey Clinkscales, who's playing here in his hometown of Knoxville. Wesley Walls, by the way, the Ole Miss defensive end who went out, number 80, injured his neck, but he will be back in the ball game, so he is okay. We're happy to report. Number 18, Troy Hale in the game for Tennessee now on a first down 10 at the 20 of Ole Miss, just outside the 20. Dickey with the audible. Everybody audible. Ole Miss calling an audible. Ole Miss won the audible that time as Powell gets only about a yard. Bubba Dickey.
Of being over, but it's in essence over. Why not get Jeff Francis in there and let him take some snaps, direct some drives?
Well, we'll have Tennessee playing Kentucky next week on our game of the week. Here's the throw into the end zone. It is incomplete, intended for McGee, covered by Stevan Moore. We'll have a chance to talk to Johnny Majors about that and just why he is playing with the two quarterbacks. We were not aware he was going to, even though we chatted with him about Darrell Dickey today. We do know that Francis had played a little bit against Rutgers, about around 10 minutes or so before now, Jeff Francis. So we were a little surprised when he came in as early as he did. That's a war every year between Tennessee and Kentucky. Of course, everybody. You know, you talk about rivalries in the SEC. Well, pick a matchup. It's a rivalry.
That's right.
Third down 9 from the 19. Tennessee in that passing set, pass protection set, as you can see. Dickey into the end zone. McGee, touchdown. McGee's first touchdown catch today, and that gives him 117 yards on 7 catches.
Jonathan Shelley in good shape here, running right with McGee. Get your head around. Good position. If he'd have got his head around, he might have had an interception. Too often, the defensive back gets locked in on the receiver instead of locating the football, and that's what happened there. And again, McGee, good concentration on the ball, brings in another 6 points for Tennessee. Here's
Reves hoping to keep his consecutive PAT streak alive, and does. And Tennessee leads 31-7 with 8:44 to go in this football game. In front of a very happy crowd. And there's a young man we're sorry to see not playing, but I'm sure he's happy. Tony Robinson, Tennessee's injured quarterback. Past their 33-yard line in the entire second half. And they're starting in the hole again at the 12. This Volunteer team is fired up. There's Tim McGee, who has 117 yards, 1 touchdown catch today, 4 on the year. And Tim McGee says, give me a little pub here. Get out of my way. I caught a TD pass.
Clear him out.
He's an outstanding young man. Tim and you and I spent some time with McGee and with Tony Robinson at the SEC football meetings in Birmingham before the season started. And they're personable and interesting young men.
Very, very articulate.
Here's Osgood. As a man open, overthrows J.R. Ambrose at the 20-yard line. And speaking of good, Nashville. 2nd down 10. Osgood. Incomplete, intended for Sykes. He was open, just couldn't hold on to it.
At practice yesterday, I was listening to a couple of players talking. Charles Davis is, what would you expect them to be talking about? I mean, they're in the run for the SEC championship. They're going to, looks like they may have a chance to go to the Sugar Bowl. Of course they have a chance.
Maybe they were talking about the fraternity formal.
No, he's talking about Reagan and in the summit meetings coming up.
And Gorbachev.
In Gorbachev in Geneva. And I think, oh.
A football player.
Yeah.
That's how the game has changed since you played, Tim.
That's right.
Osgood. It's picked off. That's Chris White, his 7th interception. White down to the 9. Fumbled the ball there. And it's Ole Miss ball. Ole Miss gets it right back.
Watch this. He'll hear about this. He'll hear about this. Now, I told you that all defensive backs, 6 of Tennessee's defensive backs used to be quarterbacks. A couple of them used to be receivers. Maybe Chris was a running back. Great play on the football. Now, watch how he's carrying the ball. Look at this. That's not how you're supposed to carry the ball, Chris. And I think who comes in? J.R.?
I believe it's
J.R. Ambrose comes in, knocks the ball out, and now we got to line up and play again.
So there's your giveaway takeaway. That's even for Tennessee on that play. Osgood rolling out of the pocket over the middle. It's complete to Andre Rogers, close to the first down. About 9 yards to the 17-yard line, DeLong with the tackle. J.R. Ambrose has no catches, but he has one of the good tackles in this game. Watch number 6.
Looks good. It looks good when you're carrying the ball like that. That's slick looking. That's definitely GQ. But unfortunately, if you get hit from the back, it comes out.
It becomes DQ.
Right.
As in disqualified.
Oh, boy.
So it'll be 2nd down and about a half a yard here for Ole Miss. This game is history in terms of winning and losing. Tennessee 31, Mississippi 7. And the Volunteers continue their quest for the Sugar Bowl. If they continue to win, Tennessee will go to the Sugar Bowl. It's close to the first down. I believe Ole Miss got it. There's Tony Robinson, and we saw before we took a commercial break just a few minutes ago. You can see the popularity of that young man. So he says, it's hard for me to sign an autograph with these crutches.
Right, that's what you need to do, Tony. Start signing autographs on the stairs.
Don't do that.
No, that's a good decision. You're showing a lot of wisdom there.
Tony Robinson, you talk about Heisman Trophy. Had he kept playing the way he was playing when he went down against Alabama, that young man right there could have been a definite candidate for the Heisman Trophy.
No question about it. I mean, from what Carl Torbush said, there wasn't a defensive coordinator in the league that wasn't intimidated by his presence.
Goodlow, the intended receiver, the incomplete pass.
Defensive line in the condition that it's in, you want a mobile guy.
Well, there's a big hole for the first down run out across the 31-yard line. NT presentation of Southeastern Conference football as we'll follow Tennessee in their quest for the Sugar Bowl. Osgood picked off again. And who is it but number 7, Chris White, now with 8 interceptions on the year. And he's down at the 25, doesn't fumble. Lavoisier Fisher came up the middle to apply the pressure, but watch Chris White, number 7.
Watch this, settling back in there, kind of in the robber position, settles down, boom. Looked like Osgood expected Ambrose to break it to the inside, and look at how White's carrying the ball now.
I think he heard you.
Right, the nose is tucked up inside there. Once is enough. Good, you're showing some wisdom, Chris. You learn fast. That's great.
Now we have Jeff Francis in at quarterback for UT, the redshirt freshman from Mount Prospect, Illinois, on first down. And Tennessee just running it off the right side. That's Pete Panuska, tackled by
Gromos from a Chicago suburb. And now this week we're seeing Jeff Francis, quarterback at Tennessee from a suburb of Chicago.
This will be 2nd down 7. They spot it just outside the 22-yard line. Tennessee a little confused here with the play call. It doesn't matter, though. They're just going to run it with Panuska, who gets it to the 20, maybe inside the 20. Rodney Lowe, the freshman from Pompano Beach, Florida, making the stop for Ole Miss. We were talking about Ole Miss earlier. You said you thought that their recruiting needs centered mainly on offensive line. I would have to agree with you on that, Tim, and I'm sure that's what Billy Brewer is looking for.
I think so. Any team that's doing that much shifting in the offensive line this late in the year, you know, it has to indicate some that they're not happy with some performances down there.
3rd down 5. Volunteers at the 20 of Ole Miss. 4:55 remaining in the game. Here goes Panuska as penalty markers go down. Panuska to about the 19. Tennessee bidding for its first SEC championship since 1969. That year, the Volunteers' lone loss during the regular season was to Ole Miss. Tennessee was unbeaten and ranked 3rd in the country. But Archie Manning beat the Volunteers 38-0 in Jackson. The Sugar Bowl then invited Ole Miss to that bowl. Tennessee went to the Gator Bowl. The following year, though, Tennessee went to the Sugar Bowl and made the most of it. They beat Air Force 34-13 on the first day of 1971. Starting to rain here, too. It's going to be 4th down, and Tennessee puts Reveiz on the field at the 26, so it'll be a 36-yard field goal attempt for Carlos Reveiz. He's tied with Bo Jackson for the leading scoring. He averages 8.7 points per game. And he hooked that one in there just like Tim Foley's 5-iron shot, and Reveiz with his 2nd field goal of the day. Tennessee 34, Ole Miss 7. 4:19 remaining in the game. This is Super Football Saturday on Turner Network Television. And it is Tennessee 34 and Ole Miss 7 with 4:19 to go in this ball game. There's Willie Goodlow to take the kickoff. They're holding it. The ball kept rolling over down there. Reveiz kicking it without a tee, and that's to keep it on the ground, as you can see. Takes a tough hop. Goodlow with trouble at the goal line. And out to about the 17 or 18-yard line comes Willie Goodlow. And there Ole Miss will attempt to move the ball again, trailing now 34-7. And Ohio State takes
a national rating, a #1 rating in the AP poll. And that slipped away last week. I'm sure that they're suffering the emotional effects of that today.
There's Mark Young, who's inserted in at quarterback for Ole Miss, as Chris Osgood could not get it done today. And another Wildcats will be really crazy if they beat Florida and ready for Tennessee. They'd love to ambush both of them, wouldn't they?
That's definitely correct. And regardless of the outcome in Gainesville, you can bet they're going to be ready to defend their honor up in Lexington. I know they've been embarrassed with their performance in a couple of games this year, and what they're trying to do, I think, is salvage their pride this season. And of course, Claiborne is a fellow that coaches with a lot of pride, trying to get his team up and finish strong.
Kentucky 1-3 in the SEC. They are 5-4 on the year. Now, if Kentucky were to beat Florida, were to beat Tennessee, and finish up the season 7-4, you can see in the standings they are leading Florida in the second half, 13-12 at Gainesville. It's 4th down, inches. Ole Miss going to go for it. Mark Young checking off at the line of scrimmage. 25-second clock runs down to 2 seconds, and he gives it to the freshman tailback Chuck Cleveland, who came into the ball game 28-yard line. 2:13 remaining in this ball game. Mark Young, freshman quarterback, in the pocket. He completes another one, this time to tight end Michael Smith. And Smith a yard or just barely short of the first down. He may even be at the first down marker. Clock running down inside 2 minutes remaining in this game at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. It's starting to rain here now, and a lot of the folks are leaving Neyland Stadium. We had 93,000 in here earlier. They're going to complete this circle, and nobody's quite sure how many people it's going to hold then. They say you can pack in 100,000 in the stadium now if you jam everybody in standing room only them. And, of course, they'd like to pass up the University of Michigan and become the largest stadium in the country. They're second largest now. Young has a man in the end zone. It's Ambrose. Touchdown, Ole Miss. His first catch of the day is a touchdown pass for J.R.
Under a chance to bat it away. Ambrose, with his arms and hands out away from his body, made the catch.
Going to be an onside kick attempt here by Ole Miss. Bounced right into the hands of Tennessee's wide receiver Troy Hale, number 18. Make that 16, Tommy Sims. Sims with the catch of the onside kick attempt, and Tennessee will take it there with 1:26 to go in the game, leading 34. Tennessee brings in their third quarterback of the day. It is Greg Hargis, number 17. He is a freshman from Dalton, Georgia. Greg has played a little bit also for the Volunteers, but just only a few snaps. Jim Miller running the ball. Check that. Greg Hargis has thrown no passes for the Volunteers. There's the youngster from Dalton, Georgia.
Probably won't get his first one in today either.
I doubt that Johnny will let him throw a long one. 1:02 remaining, clock counting down. Ole Miss will be happy to get out of here. Ole Miss has to go play in the Egg Bowl in Jackson, Mississippi against Mississippi State in that annual war next Saturday. That game, no matter the record of these two teams, is always a battle. Hargis letting the clock run down, giving it to tailback Jim Miller, who just popped it through there, and he's to the 35-yard line. Excuse me, that was not Miller. That was Pete Panuska who took it, the tailback. Panuska popped it in there behind the block of Jim Miller. 14-yard gain for Panuska. Clock down to 33, 32 and counting. The 25-second clock is less than that, so Tennessee will have to get off the play, but this will be the last one. Tennessee continues their quest for the Sugar Bowl. And that'll be the last play of the ball game. Panuska. And the Tennessee Volunteer fans who have stayed here in the rain to watch Tennessee hold on to their 34-14 win over the Rebels of Ole Miss. And the Volunteers now go to 3-1 in the SEC and 6-1-2 on the year. There's Majors and Billy Brewer. We'll be back in just a moment at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Ole Miss losing to Tennessee 34-14.
Other scores coming up on the Redman Action Report. But now let's go back to Bob.
Tennessee beats Ole Miss 34-14. 6 of those 34 points came when Tim McGee caught a touchdown pass in this game. He's number 2 in receptions and yardage for the University of Tennessee all-time list now, and the man that Johnny Majors, who's coached some great ones, says is the best I've ever coached. And Johnny Majors, congratulations on your game today. And first of all, what are your thoughts now about the quest for the Sugar Bowl as you get this victory over Ole Miss?
Well, it was a great win, and we did some things. We went out and executed. We played as a team, offensively and defensively. Our defense gave us some good field position, and our offense just took the opportunity and scored on it. And as far as the Sugar Bowl, we're taking it one at a time, and we had Ole Miss today, and now we got Kentucky. We have to look forward to it because it'll always be a tough game, and we know Kentucky going to play us because it's like a state rivalry. So we got to go out and execute well.
Today you passed up Anthony Hancock in receptions and total yardage. Did you break his records in high school, too? You guys went to the same high school, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to the same high school. I broke his records, but I really think he's a great athlete. And it's really great to break someone like Hancock's record. And just to be up there in the top of the Tennessee receivers saying something really great.
Who do you think's the toughest defensive back to work against in the SEC?
Well, I think it's definitely Arthur Johnson from Auburn. He played me real tough when he came in here. I think he was the only one. They really played me man-to-man most of the game, and they really didn't double-cut me. So he did a great job, and I really think he's the best in the SEC.
Now, did you catch a couple of touchdown passes in that game?
Yeah, I caught one against him, but it was a hard-fought battle between me and him, and I'm just lucky I got that one, and I think we came out 50-50 on the deal.
What happened on that play late in the first quarter? It looked like you ran about a 35-yard hook. Was that a read route?
Yeah. The quarterback, they run the play in, and the quarterback got and told me to run a 25-yard curl route, and he thought I was running the takeoff route, and he threw the takeoff, and, you know, it was a miscommunication on his part in the sideline, and I did exactly what they told me to do.
You'd never go too far wrong doing that, right?
That's right.
Well, you certainly ran the right route on your touchdown catch. Let's look at that along with you, Tim, and tell us about this catch from Daryl Dickey.
Well, we was expecting a blitz coming from the secondary, and when it came, we was going to just run by the guy, and fortunately, Daryl put it up well when he didn't look back, and there was the catch, and it was just I think it was a great throw on Daryl's part, and execution well.
What about the quarterback situation? Of course, your friend Tony Robinson went down, and Tennessee was hurt by that. Dickey came in here and has played quite well. And then today, we surprised a little bit to see Jeff Francis come in. What's going on with the quarterback situation? Why the two quarterbacks?
Well, I think they're giving Jeff Francis some experience for next year. Daryl kind of hurt his leg in the midway through the second quarter, so they had to play Jeff right then until Daryl got well. And I think it's really good for our part because we're not really relying on one quarterback. And when there's two quarterbacks can do the job, I think we can get the feel for both of them.
One final question, Tim McGee. We're going to televise your game next week in Lexington as Tennessee becomes America's team for a couple of weeks here, maybe even 3 to follow your aim for the Sugar Bowl. What do you have to do in just one short answer, if you can, offensively to beat that very tough Kentucky 8-man front defensive football team?
We're going to have to out-physical them. They come in every year and they try to out-physical us, so we're going to have to out-physical them and execute well.
You know, the last we heard in the third quarter, Kentucky was leading Florida 13-12 down in Gainesville.
Well, I hope they win.
We'll see you next week in Lexington.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations to Tim McGee. Becomes the #2 all-time career leader in receptions and yardage at the University of Tennessee, passing Anthony Hancock today. He had a touchdown reception, and the Tennessee Volunteers beat Ole Miss 34-14. And as we say, next week we will be in Lexington, Kentucky, as the Volunteers meet the Wildcats. And, of course, right after this, we'll update you on the latest on the Kentucky-Florida score. Today's game has been brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealers. For comfort, innovation, and a real commitment to quality, it's today's Buicks. And by Budweiser, Beechwood Age, for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. And by the United States Armed Forces, a great place to start.
And by Delta Airlines, over 38,000 professionals serving more than 100 cities in the U.S. and overseas. Delta gets you there. And by CNN, the world's most important network.
An all-star performance by our TBS sports crew today. Our executive producer, Don Ellis. Our producer, Skip Ellison, who is playing way above his head. Director, Ken Fouts. Also a great job today. Rodney Triplett, our associate producer, and associate director, Richard Croker, and a look at all the other folks who bring you the great coverage on TNT Southeastern Conference football. Now, speaking for Tim Foley, this is Bob Neal from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, reminding you to stay tuned now as the football action report follows on most of these stations.
Moved a step closer to the SEC title and a berth in the Sugar Bowl, 34-14, and I was very impressed.
I was very impressed with Tennessee's offense. They've rebounded. The Tony Robinson thing is over and done.
A 34-14 win over Mississippi today. If Tennessee can win at Kentucky and against Vanderbilt at home, Johnny Majors will be marching south to New Orleans for the first time since he came home to Tennessee. Alabama beat Southern Mississippi 24-13.
Victimized early. His kick attempt was blocked by the Volunteers. Chris White, and Tennessee takes over the Ole Miss 38-yard line, and that whole thing resulted in Steve Henderson going over from 2 yards out to put the Johnny Majors team in front 7-0. Mississippi did tie the game on a Sean Sykes run from the 1-yard line, but from then on in it was all Tennessee. Freshman quarterback Jeff Francis to Tim Hendricks for the touchdown that made it 17-7, and Tennessee rolled 34-7. Mississippi.
And lots more. There's a much bigger prize awaiting Tennessee, the SEC championship and a berth in the Sugar Bowl.
We can control our own destiny. If we win the next 2 ball games, we will be in the bowl that we want to go to.
When Tennessee lost starting quarterback Tony Robinson, many lost hope. But Daryl Dickey has stepped in and led Tennessee to 5 straight wins.
Dickey has completed exactly his percentage completion is 63.9, I think, and Robson's 63.4 when he got hurt. So Dickey has gained experience, he's gained confidence, and I think he's doing a great job of running their offense right now.
Very good. You win championships with defense and specialty teams. That being the case, you have to love Tennessee. Most schools want their defense off the field, not Tennessee. The Vols' defense time and time again has set the tempo for a victory. And Carlos Revez, whose brother kicks for the Miami Dolphins, is second only to Bo Jackson in the SEC scoring race. A year ago, Kentucky upset Tennessee. But this Kentucky team is not as good, and this Tennessee team is better. Despite losing to Brigham Young, as we predict.
It's the 60th annual beer title last week against Ole Miss.